Welcome to a new video from Excel Data Analysis Series PT for Pivot Tables, video PT07, 7 things that you must know about pivot tables will help you to professionally navigate through your pivot table, and also it will help you to fine-tune the layout of your report, and this includes how you can get a breakdown through a double click on the value area, how you can filter and sort your pivot tables, and also search and sort inside the field list of the pivot table, and for the layout of your report, how you can auto fit your column width, and also how you can show or hide labels. And finally, we'll talk about the custom styles, which we spoke about before. However, this time we'll give more information about it. If you want to follow along while watching the video, or even if you want to practice after watching the video, please go down in the description section. You will find the link. Please use it to download the Excel file, and also use the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified with the new videos. So as usual, we are working on the AAA Bike Shop daily sales. It comes in 7 columns, including date, product name, category, sales and sales quantity, and the net sales. And I already prepared some sheets and some pivot tables so you can use it as a starting point. First one we'll discuss today is the double click, and you can see here in this sheet, double click, I have a pivot table prepared containing the quarterly sales of the AAA Bike Shop and summarized by category and also by product name. And if I want to analyze or break down any number inside this value area, let's say the road bikes in Q4, I can just select it, and while selecting it, I will double click on it and see what will happen. It will open a new sheet 1, as you can see here, and a new table created, and this table contains the breakdown of this number. If you go down here and try to add a summary, you will find the same amount, the 84249, exactly the same amount that I have here, and it contains all the breakdowns of this number, so you can analyze the number easily. So the second feature I want to work on today is the filters. It seems like an easy one, however it contains a lot of details, so we have to pay some attention. When you create a pivot table like this, it's the sales for the year, sum of quantity and sum of net sales by the product name. I have 25 products here in this pivot table, and I have here the row label, and beside the row label there's a drop down menu that I can activate or use by clicking on this arrow, and it will open all the filter options. The easiest part is this part. It contains all the items. I can just unselect and select whatever I want, or I can just select all and start to search here. Like I can do a search on bikes, and when I click on OK, it will have the only words containing bikes in the labels. I have only 3 items containing bikes. I can clear the filter easily by either select all, or I can just clear the filter from this button. I can also do some filtration on the value section. I can do this through the same menu. However, this time I can go to value filter, and I have a lot of options here, including equals, does not equal, greater than, less than, and so on and so forth. Let me select less than, but be careful because you have 2 columns containing values, so you have to decide the value filter will be based on which column. For me, I want the net sales is less than, and I will write 50,000 and OK, so it will bring all the items containing value in the net sales less than 50,000. But what if I want to add also another label filter? I need to select the items containing the word bike also. So let me try to go in the label filter, and I will go to contains. It will open the dialog box and show items of which the label contains. I can also change from here. Let me stick to contains. I will write the word bike. I can use also the wildcards, the question mark, and the asterisk. For my case, I'm going to use asterisk because sometimes we'll find bike written with S and sometimes without S. So this will secure both things, with S and without S. And then I'll click on OK. But what will happen here? I can see values bigger than 50,000. Why? Because if you open again the filter area, you will find that the value filter is cleared. You can see a check mark on the label filter, but value filter automatically cleared when I try to use label filter. So in this case, the pivot table is not allowing me to do multiple filters. However, I can activate this feature from the pivot table analyze ribbon. So while selecting any cell inside the pivot table, I'm going to pivot table analyze ribbon, and from the pivot table section in the options, I'm going to click on options, and surely I'm going to go to totals and filters, and I'm going to check on allow multiple filters, and okay. I have now the label filter activated. I can now work on the value filter, and again I'm going to less than, and I'm going to select net sales less than 50,000, and okay. Now it's working. I have filters in both labels and values. We are still talking about the filters, but this time we are talking about multi-layer filter, and this will happen only if you have more than one level inside the rows area or even inside the column area. For this purpose, or for this report, we have two layers inside the row area. We have the category and then the products. And if you look at the filter options here, or the filter drop down, if you open it, you will find a new section here called select field, with a drop down asking you which field you want to work on. I have the categories and I have the products, but if you look at this one, because it's single layer, we have only one level inside the rows area. If you open this, you will not find this at the top as we have here in this filter. For my example here, I'm going to start with categories. I'm going to select accessories, and then I'm going to select bikes. And once I click on OK, the filter applied on only these categories. I can open again, and this time I'm going to select the product, and I'm going to search on bikes and enter. So in this case, I have one item from the accessories category and 4 products from the bikes category, and I have the filter applied here. If I change, you can see the filter also applied here, and this is the multi-layer filter. We're still talking about filters, but this time date filter. As you can see in this pivot table, we have the monthly sales, and because this column depends on dates, we have dates in this data set, but we did some grouping, and we have the month and quarters to group the dates. And open the dialog box for the filters, I'll find something called date filter, and if you hover over it, you have a plenty of very good and cool filters that ready-made for you. You can just click on this and input a specific date, and you have the calendar here. That's very good and very easy. And also you can do some other cool tricks like today. That's very good. And because we are in 20th of July, you can see here in the calendar 20th of July, so we have only one line for July. But if I drop the date below, you can see this is 20th of July and only 10,000. Also, you can use something like tomorrow or yesterday. You can use something like next week. That's very good, from 21st July, which is starting tomorrow, up to 27th of July, 7 days. Here you can have this month, the entire July here, and you can also work with quarters. You can go here and decide to select this quarter, and if you take out the date, you will have the 3 months of this quarter, the third quarter of the year, July, August, and September. If I have more than 1 year in this data set, I can also work with the years. And also I like this one, which is year to date, and it's working with all the dates starting January up to today. And if you also check the date here, if you drop the date below the month and you go down to the last day, you have here the 20th of July. So this is very cool. You can do a very cool and quick tricks using this filter, the date filter. Last one for the filters is the filter area itself. I have here the same report as the previous one, but this time I'm going to take the category from the field list and drop it in the filters, and you can see it will create another area of the report on the header, on top of the report as something like a header, and it will open a specific drop down menu. You can use it to select whatever you want. So if I filter on bikes, the entire report will be only for bikes. If I select something like accessories, the entire report will be only for accessories. However, I can also select more than one item, but before doing this I have to check this box, select multiple items, so I can select bikes and accessories and click on OK. So in this case this report is for bikes and accessories, but there is one small problem that you can see here in this label which items you selected. You have to open and check exactly what items checked in this list. So I prefer to do it differently. I prefer to go to the field list and right click and select add as a slicer, and it will create quickly a slicer, and from the slicer you can see here bikes and accessories created. You can clear the filter and you can see the filter area is changing with the selection of the slicer. For this time I can select only bikes, and by the way, if I go back to the field list and from the filter area I take out the category, the report will still filtered using the slicer. I'm going to talk about the slicers more, but not today. It will be in next videos. The third feature that we are going to talk about is sorting, and it's not that easy as you think. There's a lot of details that you need to pay attention to. So let's start with what we have as default sorting when you create a pivot table. So the text fields, when you drop it in rows or in column, it will be sorted alphabetically in ascending order, meaning that accessories starting with A's will come first, and then the C will come last because I have only A, B, and C. And I can easily reverse this. If I select this drop down menu, I can see the sorting option up here, and I can reverse by sort from Z to A, and this is working very good. Let me undo this. Not only this, if I drop anything in the column or in the rows, and this with the nature of dates, it will be sorted from oldest to newest, like I can see here, Q1 first, then Q2 and Q3, and finally Q4. And also I can reverse this by selecting the option sort newest to oldest, and you can see it will start with Q4. Not only this, pivot tables also allow you to do your own sort manually, meaning that if I want to put accessories at the end of this report, I can just select the header of the row and I can just select from the edge and drag it down till the end. It will do manually and perfectly. Also, if I want to take something like Q4 at the beginning of the columns, I can just select and drag at the beginning and it is working perfectly, no problem. And finally, you can do some sorting based on the values, but make sure that you select the right option, because if you are working here, it's only for the rows. If you are working here, it's only for the columns. The only two places that you can use to do sorting based on the values is right click and you go to sort, or you go to the data ribbon and in sort and filter area you will have the sort options based on values in this area. And now let's try it. I'm going to select Q1 bikes, right click, sort, and I'm going to select sort largest to smallest and click, and you can see automatically bikes jump to the first, and then clothing, then accessories, and luckily the same order for all quarters. So selecting Q1 will not differ from selecting grand total or any other quarter. However, if in this case, in this set of data, if I want to sort from left to right, meaning that I want to put the highest quarter for sales value on the left, it will depend on which row I'm selecting. Why? Because you can see in bikes Q3 is the highest. I can give a color like yellow here, and for clothing Q4 is the highest, and that's why if I'm selecting clothing line and right click and I selected sort, more options, left to right, largest to smallest, you can see this cell will jump to the left. Okay, and you can see it will start with Q4. However, if I selected the bikes and did the same, right click, sort, more sort options, and okay, the order will differ. The Q3 will be at the most left and Q4 will be at the end. So while sorting using the value area, you have to be very careful which row or which column you are selecting. Last one about sorting. If you want Excel to use a custom sorting that you already predefined and use it every time you drop the same list of fields like what I have here, you want Excel to start with bikes, then components, clothing, and accessories, and you want Excel every time you use this set of data inside any pivot table to use it like this in this order. This very easy. You just highlight the 4 cells and you can go to File and then Options and Advanced, and you need to scroll down up to General section. Here you have General section, and from General, Edit Custom List, and you can see here on the left hand side all the custom list either built in Excel or you customized yourself like this ones. And I want to add a new one. You can go to New Custom List and you type yourself here freely, or because I already selected these 4 cells you have here in the import window, it's already recognized that you want to import something from the Excel sheet, and you can just click on import and then OK, and then OK for options. And now the custom list already made, and if you want to use it, just go to the label row, and from the drop down you can just use sort from A to Z, and you can see now the new order exactly like what you did here. Every time you drop this set of data inside a pivot table, it will take this order. Feature number 4, it is not about pivot tables, this one, it's about the field list sort and search. So I'm not going to work here, I'm going to work here in the pivot table fields, and it's all about this area, how this is sorted and how can I search. Especially if you have a very long list of fields inside this area, you can just use this efficient search box to just write the first letter of any field that you want to add. So for instance, if I want to add something like quarters or quantity, I can just write Q, and you can see here quantity and quarters appeared. If I want to add the product name, I can just type P, and you can see product name appeared here. Not only this, you can also decide or define the way this field sorted inside this list, and the default is it is sorted in the same order like the original data set. And from this settings or tools wheel, you can just select it, and you can find here the default sort in data source order, and also you can select sort from A to Z if this will be easier for you to select and drop and drag from the field list. Feature number 5 is auto fit column width. As you can see here, I have 2 pivot tables, one summarizing the net sales by quarter and by category, and the other one summarizing the quantity also by quarters and by category. And a lot of people are using this setup if they are working on dashboards or something like this. They need to have more than one table in the same dashboard, and also they can add some graphs and slices and things like this. The issue will come here if you want to refresh this information. So let me right click in this pivot table and refresh, and look at what will happen. The column width will automatically adjust to fit the smaller table, and you can see here you cannot read the large numbers, so you have to select the columns again and double click to make sure that the numbers are readable inside the pivot tables. Or you can go directly while selecting any cell inside the pivot table to pivot table analyze and go to options, from layout and format, auto fit column width on update. If I uncheck this and click on OK, and I try this time to right click and refresh, the data will be refreshed and nothing will happen. The column width will be preserved and will not change. Feature number 6, show and hide button and labels. So in this case, I have a pivot table summarizing net sales by quarter and by category and also by product. And you can see here, because it's multi-layer, I have on the left hand side, I have this button, the expand and collapse button that I'm using here. So if you want to send this to someone and you want him not to use these buttons, so he changed layout that you use for your report, that's very easy. You can go in the pivot table analyze ribbon and in the show area, and you can just uncheck the buttons, plus and minus button, and you can see the buttons disappeared from your report. Not only this one, also you can see here in the headers something like row labels and column labels. Actually, it's very useful for you while building the report, because you can use this drop down menu and do all the filters and all the sorting. However, when you finally send your report or finally print your report, you don't need something meaningless in the layout of your report like row labels or column labels, so you can just take them out again from the same area, pivot table analyze ribbon, and in the show area you can just uncheck the field headers, and now it is disappeared. And you can do now something like selecting the entire area for the header and right click and go to cell format, and from cell format you go to alignment, and horizontally you can center across selection and OK. Now you have a very nice and smooth format that you can use to send your final product or even to print it out. So feature number 7 and the last one is the custom styles. And you can see this report is built on the default style that provided by Excel, and from the design ribbon you can find plenty of styles under pivot table styles. You can just select this arrow down and you have a lot of styles that you can select from. However, you can also do your own style, customized styles from this button, new pivot table style. If you select this one, you can start to give a name to your new style. I'll call it AAA. And here you can see a preview that you are going to use, and also this is the name of each area in the pivot table that you need to customize yourself. So I'm going to start with the whole table, and I'm going to select format. It will open the format cell dialog box, and I'm going to directly to fill, and I'm going to select the light gray and click on OK. The background of the report will be gray as seen here in the preview. Also, I'm going to header row and I'm going to format. This time I need something like this blue in the fill. In the font, I want to have it in the white color. Also, I need it bold. And also from the borders, I'm going to select a light single line here, and I'm going to click on OK. You can see the preview changed again. You have here the first strip in blue and written inside in white. Also, I'm going to something like go down to the grand total column, format, fill, leave it no color, but border, let me have a small line like this one on the left, and also in the font, I'll do it bold and click on OK. You can see the separator line here, and this will be written in bold. And last, I'm going to grand total row, format. I'm going to select border, double line on the top, and single line in the bottom. And the font will be also bold and fill. I'll not do anything in the fill tab. So I'm going to select OK and then OK. And now if you check here on the top, you have your custom style. You can just select, and here you go, your own custom style created. That was all for today. Hope that was useful for you, and thank you very much for your time, and see you in next videos, and bye.